As Donald Trump's 2024 campaign spirals into disarray, it's not just his inner circle feeling the pressure. Fox News, long regarded as a steadfast Trump ally, is increasingly showing signs of panic. The network, particularly its opinion-heavy shows, is frantically attempting to maintain a narrative where Trump is still a political force to be reckoned with, even as reality suggests otherwise. The result is a desperate, propaganda-laden pivot to alternate realities that would be almost comical if they weren't so alarming. Fox News is deploying every tool in its arsenal to prop up Trump and his failing campaign, from inflating baseless claims about Democratic candidates to indulging in conspiracy theories. This video unpacks Fox News' meltdown and exposes how Trump's media machine is crumbling under the weight of its own delusions. Fox Business, from business reporting to propaganda machine. In its struggle to reconcile with the fact that Trump's campaign is collapsing, even Fox Business, supposedly the network's straight financial news channel, has veered sharply into Trumpian propaganda. Former Trump administration official Larry Kudlow, who now hosts Kudlow on Fox Business, found himself in the uncomfortable position of announcing a third consecutive record close for the stock market, news that typically favors the incumbent administration. Yet, instead of objectively reporting the positive economic news, Kudlow quickly pivoted to a familiar talking point, demonizing Vice President Kamala Harris. As Kudlow reluctantly delivered the news of stock market highs, he immediately shifted gears to focus on baseless accusations about Harris's tax policies. Kudlow claimed that her proposed tax hikes would kill 800,000 jobs while touting Trump's tax cuts as a job creator, despite extensive evidence that the Trump-era tax cuts disproportionately benefited the wealthy and exploded the federal deficit. The desperate need to deflect from positive news for the Biden-Harris administration and shift attention back to Trump was glaring. Fox Business, New York fantasy. In another bizarre segment, Fox Business Maria Bartiromo hosted Republican Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, where the two fantasized about Trump somehow flipping deep blue New York in the upcoming election. Bartiromo echoed Trump's claim that New York could be in play in 2024, citing concerns about crime and immigration, particularly in Long Island's Nassau and Suffolk counties. This theory, however, ignores the overwhelming Democratic voter advantage in New York and the state's consistent voting pattern in presidential elections. Tenney's hollow optimism only underscored the increasingly absurd narrative Fox News is attempting to build around Trump's campaign. Bartiromo and Tenney cited vague shifts to the right in certain districts as evidence, but political insiders on both sides of the aisle have been quick to dismiss the idea that New York is truly competitive. The conversation seemed less about offering real political analysis and more about keeping Trump's supporters from losing hope in his increasingly futile campaign. James Comer's Harris conspiracy theory. Fox Business wasn't the only arm of the network engaging in desperate attempts to create distractions. James Comer, the Republican congressman from Kentucky, appeared on Bartiromo's show to float a new conspiracy theory about Kamala Harris. According to Comer, Harris isn't a legitimate gun owner, and if she is, she should be forced to publicly disclose the type of firearm she owns. Comer, who is usually vocal about opposing gun registries, suddenly found himself supporting the idea, but only if it applied to Harris. This blatant hypocrisy didn't go unnoticed, and the entire segment reeked of desperation. Rather than focus on substantive issues, Comer and Bartiromo fixated on Harris's personal life in an attempt to distract from Trump's many legal and political woes. This kind of baseless conspiracy mongering is exactly the sort of propaganda Fox News has been peddling as they try to steer the narrative away from Trump's failures and onto any Democratic figure they can smear. As if Fox News' desperation wasn't already palpable, it reached new heights when Lindsey Graham appeared on the network to defend Trump's endorsement of North Carolina's controversial Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. Robinson, who has called himself a black Nazi and has espoused horrifying views on slavery and abortion, is a political liability for Trump, but Graham insisted that Trump knew nothing about Robinson's extremism. Graham's defense of Trump was particularly weak, especially in light of a new Kamala Harris campaign ad airing in North Carolina. The ad showed multiple clips of Trump praising Robinson, directly tying the two men together. Robinson's shocking statements about slavery and his bizarre comparisons between himself and Martin Luther King Jr. were displayed prominently in the ad, which has sent the Trump campaign into damage control mode. Despite this, Graham appeared on Fox News to downplay the connection, even going so far as to say that holding Trump accountable for his endorsement of Robinson would be unfair. Jesse Watters' obsession with masculinity. In another corner of Fox News, Jesse Watters, now occupying the primetime slot once held by Tucker Carlson, has taken up a peculiar obsession with what he perceives as real masculinity. Watters has fixated on Democratic Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, making bizarre and unfounded claims about Walz's masculinity. Watters even suggested that real men wouldn't support the policies Walz has implemented, particularly his support for transgender rights. Watters' nightly rants about masculinity seem to be an attempt to appeal to Fox's shrinking base of male viewers who are feeling alienated by modern politics. His attacks on Walz, however, only serve to highlight the desperation Fox News is feeling. Walz, who enjoys a solid +7 favorability rating in Minnesota, has clearly resonated with his constituents, while Trump and his allies like J.D. Vance and Lindsey Graham continue to struggle with negative favorability ratings. Kamala Harris and the evangelical vote. In one of the more shameless displays of Fox's propaganda machine at work, a segment from Fox and Friends saw co-host Emily Compagno directly ask Trump how he plans to win over evangelical voters in 2024. Compagno's question wasn't framed as an objective inquiry, but rather as a plea for Trump to outline his strategy for manipulating a key voting bloc. The segment exposed Fox News' complete abandonment of journalistic integrity, as it's clear they are now openly serving as a mouthpiece for the Trump campaign. Compagno's leading question about how Trump would harness the evangelical vote was less an interview and more a strategy session broadcast live on national television. Fox News, once seen as a network that at least maintained the veneer of impartiality, is now little more than an arm of the Trump campaign, willing to debase itself to keep Trump's floundering bid for the White House alive. The Kamala Harris smear campaign. One of the most disturbing examples of Fox News' descent into propaganda came in the form of a manipulated video of Kamala Harris circulated by far-right influencers like libs of TikTok. The video, which was slowed down to make Harris appear intoxicated, was shared widely across social media, with the false claim that Harris was hammered during a public appearance. Fox News allowed this disinformation to spread without correction or accountability, despite the fact that the video was clearly doctored. This incident speaks to a larger problem within Fox News and the broader MAGA ecosystem: the willingness to spread outright lies to demonize their political opponents. These manipulations are designed to appeal to Fox News base, many of whom have been conditioned to distrust any information that doesn't align with their worldview. The slowed-down video of Harris is just one of many examples of how far Fox News and its allies are willing to go to protect Trump and malign the Biden-Harris administration. The meltdown at Fox News is a symptom of a larger problem within the Republican Party and Trump's campaign, a growing disconnect from reality. As Trump's political fortunes continue to decline, Fox News is scrambling to maintain control of the narrative, resorting to increasingly desperate tactics to keep their audience in the dark. From absurd conspiracy theories about Kamala Harris to shameless endorsements of extremists like Mark Robinson, Fox News has become little more than a propaganda arm for the Trump campaign. However, as these narratives grow more detached from reality, they are becoming harder to sustain. The American public is starting to see through the lies and distortions, and the cracks in Fox News' facade are becoming more apparent. While Trump may still enjoy the unwavering support of a small, diehard base, it's clear that Fox News' attempts to rewrite reality are failing. In the end, the truth has a way of breaking through, and no amount of propaganda can prevent that. The unraveling of Fox News' credibility may very well be the final chapter in Trump's long, chaotic political career.